What up, gamers? Welcome back to the Mini Mad Cat. This weekend, just gone, an account on Cults 3D uploaded around about 100 STL zip files, and they racked up roughly 180,000 downloads before the account was taken down. If you were to download and print the entire 100 file collection, that would have added up to around about £6,000 to £7,000 worth of models you otherwise would have had to buy from Games Workshop. Today I'll explain how I got that number, and we'll dig into what that number really means, how it could scale across the community, and while the real world impact is a lot more complicated. And just to be clear, I don't condone the upload, we're just analysing the situation here. If you like hobby drama with numbers occasionally, hit like and subscribe, and drop your reaction in the comments down below. Now, let's go. The big number. So, 180,000 downloads. Sounds massive. If you take the rough collection value, around about £6,000 to £7,000 in official models, and scale that across everyone who hit the download, you end up with a very scary looking number for losses to GW. We all know it's never that simple. Not every download equals a printed mini, and not every print equals a lost sale. Still, the sheer scale is enough to make Games Workshop pay attention. Why not every download equals a lost sale? Here's the thing. Most people downloading these files aren't immediately firing up their printer and replacing an official kit. A lot of them grab files to stash for later. They might want to see if a sculpt looks usable, or just build a digital collection in case they fancy printing it down the line. But that's the real point. The more people download and hold on to these files, the more it represents a future option not to buy from Games Workshop when they do want that model. The quality question. Most of the files weren't crisp digital sculpts. They were 3D scans. That meant artifacts everywhere. Mostly what's known as noise, which manifests as bumpy surfaces that need hours of careful cleanup. I don't own a printer myself, but from what I gather, there are tools that can clean this kind of scan noise up. Sure, a lot of users won't bother, but here's the kicker. It only takes one determined hobbyist to fix up those meshes, polish them to a usual standard, and then reshare them. At that point, the whole community has access to cleaner files, and the value of the collection jumps way closer to GW's official standard. What was actually included? The range was exclusively Warhammer 40k and Horus Heresy models, and it wasn't just rank and file troops either. Some of Games Workshop's most expensive flagship kits were part of the dump. We're talking Imperial Knights, full Titan kits, the Mastodon, even the Mars Pattern Warlord Titan, which, if you buy legitimately with weapons and head, which are extras, it clocks in at over £1,600. When models of that value are floating around for free, it's not hard to see why GW treats this as a serious threat to their bottom line. The uploads and the uploader's account disappeared around 10 AM on Monday morning, having started the uploads in the late afternoon of Sunday the day before. So it wasn't a big window, but it did take until Monday morning for GW to act on it. I wonder if the response time was directly connected to the time someone got into the office in Nottingham. Anyway, insider leak? At first, people thought this might be a Games Workshop insider leak. Someone leaking files, because some sculpts looked a little like unreleased or brand new sculpts. It looked like the new Fulgrim was in there because they had a picture of the new Fulgrim on the STL file on the page. It looked like they had the new Marnius Calgar, yet to be released. Of course, those raised eyebrows. But having looked closer, the files don't match GW's studio quality. That might be a bit unfair. The Marnius Calgar was an excellent sculpt. It wasn't a scan. You could call it a hobbyist level attempt at replicating the model. Maybe. I don't know. That basically rules out an internal leak anyway. Much more likely, this was the work of a disgruntled hobbyist or collector. Maybe even a sculptor who once tried to get a job at GW and felt burned by the process. Maybe? Why someone might do this. And that's where motivation comes in. Games Workshop does have a track record of frustrating fans, dropping whole armies between editions, scale creep, and resculpting units whilst restricting the use of prior releases, screwing FLGSs at every turn, and making questionable business calls that leave collectors annoyed, like FOMO, limited releases, and doing nothing to counter scalpers. It's not hard to imagine a passionate hobbyist deciding to retaliate. If someone genuinely felt GW had rejected them, however, during a job application, or worse, lifted their sculpting ideas, then dumping a huge STL collection could feel like revenge. Totally hypothetical, of course. But it lines up more than the insider leak theory. Final thoughts. So, what do you think? Was this just a salty hobbyist making a point? Was it a job applicant who had their work rejected and/or lifted for an official release? Or just a collector sick of GW's business practices? Whatever the case, the numbers show how disruptive even a short-lived leak can be, both in perception and in monetary value. I don't endorse it, but it was fascinating to watch unfold. Drop your thoughts below, hit like if you enjoyed the breakdown, and subscribe for more Warhammer drama, hobby talk, and maybe a bit of math on the side occasionally. Until next time, stay mad, question everything, have fun with your hobby. If you enjoyed that video, make sure to check out all my social medias. To watch my exclusively miniature-focused content and my completed commission reveals, search out Beyond the Box Art, which is where you'll have been able to find me on twitch.tv since February. Interested in hearing more of me and listening to some classic reads? Then look for Mad Cat audiobooks here on YouTube. If music is more your thing, type in Tom Cat's music to the search bar. You can commission me on Fiverr for my vocal, musical and audiovisual talents under Mini Mad Cat, and my miniature commission services on Fiverr under Beyond the Box Art, although there is a 20% discount if you do it directly. Contact me via Discord. If you really enjoy the content, then you can support me directly via patreon.com/TheMiniMadCat or on Ko-Fi under the name Beyond the Box Art. Thank you kindly for watching. God bless you. Question everything and have fun.
Fuck you, buddy.